Hello, welcome to the session on defining functions. A very common and good practice in programming is to break a big problem into manageable smaller chunks. For example, let us take a program that prints all the 3-digit numbers that have at least one even digit and have the units digit same as the hundredths digit. For example, 141. 141 is a 3-digit number, the units digit is same as the hundredths digit, and it also has an even digit in it. This problem can be broken down into 3 parts. The first part is to list all the 3-digit numbers. The second is to see if the units digit is the same as the hundredths digit. The third job is to see if there is at least one even digit in the number. The 3 tasks are very specific and are independent of each other. This is exactly what a function does. It is a portion of code within a larger program that performs a specific task and is relatively independent of the remaining code. So in this session, we'll learn about how to define a function. By the end of this unit, you will be able to define functions and use them. We shall write the function that we just spoke about. A function that checks if the units digit is same as the hundredths digit or not. The syntax of a function is as follows. Def is a keyword, and then we have the function name, and in brackets we have arguments followed by a colon, and we have a block in which we say what to do inside the function. Finally, we have a return value. Function is a callable and it can be called anywhere in the program. And we pass something to the function and function does something with it and finally returns a return value. What we pass to a function are called the arguments, and what it returns is the return value. Let us look at the palindrome function which we just spoke about. The function accepts a number and returns if the units digit is equal to the hundredths digit or not. Here is how the function goes. We have the def, which is a keyword, and then we have the isPalin, which is the function name, and then in brackets we have n. N is called argument. Argument is something that is passed to the function. So when we pass 141 to this function isPalin, inside the function 141 is available through this variable n. So inside the function we separate the units digit and the hundredths digit, and then we return if the units digit is equal to the hundredths digit or not. Let us try to define the function ourselves. Open a new window. We have the def keyword, and then the function name, and then the arguments. We are separating the units digit and the hundredths digit, and we are returning if the units digit is equal to the hundredths digit or not. Save the file. I am saving it as isPalin. And run it. Now the function is available for us to use it. Once we have defined a function, we have to know how to call the function or how to use the function. And here is how we call a function. We have the function name, and in brackets we have the arguments that should be passed to the function. Let us try it on our function. And there we have a true. A false. Now let us solve this problem using function. We have to write a function that checks if there is at least one even digit in a given number. For example, since 1243 contains at least one even digit, we have to print a true. But for the case of 1357, since there are no even digits, we have to print a false. or in case of a function, we have to return a false. So how do we solve this problem? We can take this number as an argument and separate digits one by one and check if the digit is even or not on all the digits. Consider this number 1243. First we check the evenness on 3 and then we check it on 4. Since 4 is already even, we need not check if the other digits are even or not. So in these cases, multiple return statements come to the rescue. The function can be written as follows. We take the number as argument and then we write a while loop which iterates over each digit in the number. And the moment we encounter an even digit, we use a return statement. And the function ends at the first encounter of a return statement. If the whole loop runs and the return statement is not executed, which means if there are no even digits, finally we return a false. Let us write the function. If we encounter an even digit, we return a true saying there is an even digit. But even if at the end of the while loop we do not encounter, then we return a false. Save the file as haseven.py. Let us run it. Now that we have the function, let us check what it does. And that way, we can use multiple return statements to write the function accordingly. Please pause here and solve the following problem to get a better understanding of defining functions and using multiple return statements. I assume you have solved the problem before we proceed further. Let us solve this problem. We have to write a function that takes two arguments. One is the number and the second is the power it should be raised to, and we should return the sum of each digit raised to that power. For example, for 123, 3 we need 1 cube plus 2 cube plus 3 cube, which is 36. For 56, 2 we return 5 square plus 6 square, which is 61. Until now we have seen functions that accept only one argument. So now let us write functions that accept more than one argument. It is done by separating the arguments with a comma while specifying them. So in our case, we are going to have two arguments. The first is a number and the second is the power to which the digits are to be raised to. So let us define the function. as we can see, now we specify two arguments separated by commas, and then you'll have a variable that should be returned, and keep adding the powers to that variable. Here we use the raise to variable, or rather the power to which the digits are to be raised to. And finally return the value. Save the file. And run it. Two square plus 5 square, that's 29. Three cube plus 6 cube, 243. Now let us try calling the function with only one variable. It raises an error saying it was expecting two arguments while we passed only one. Makes sense. And that is how we define functions with multiple arguments. This brings us to the end of the unit. We have learned what is a function and why do we need functions. We have learned how to define a function and call a function. And we've also seen how to define functions with multiple return statements and how to write functions that accept multiple arguments. Thank you for watching the video.